chair of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Would it be Tim Hogan? It's going to be Christopher DeMerritt at the line.
The following is a presentation of the iRacing Esports Network.
This season marks a new beginning. New heights will be reached. New records will be broken. A new champion will be crowned. Competition, commitment, excitement. This is Lionheart. You're watching the premier American Open Wheel Series on iRacing. The Lionheart IndyCar Series presented by First Medical Equipment starts now.
You want a close points race? Andrew Kinsella and Adam Blocker have provided that. You want a great track-car combination? The Lionheart IndyCar Series hits the mark, pairing the IR18 with Spa. You want play-by-play from a top-quality commentator and insightful analysis from a former real-world IndyCar driver? Well, you get 1 out of 2 there. It's round 14 of 24 on the Season 6 schedule. Presented by First Medical Equipment from beautiful Spa-Francorchamps, it is the HPP Grand Prix of Belgium, and you can see all the action from green flag to victory donuts live as it happens right here on the Global Sim Racing channel via the iRacing Esports Network. And to everyone watching on IESN, hello and welcome to another GSRC broadcast and the Countdown to Green, presented by the Sim Pit. As cyberspace flows into your place over the next 15 minutes, GSRC will bring you all the storylines, all the stats and facts you'll need to appreciate the simulated Dallara IR18 action that will immediately follow as we count down to green for the HPP Grand Prix of Belgium. I'm Bill Soupzon, sharing the microphone with former real-world IndyCar driver Richie Hearn. Amjad Yaman has director duties, armed with cameras locked and loaded by Dougie Beard. Now, iRacing's virtual universe is a place where dreams come true. I can dance with Virginia Mayo, Google her. I can dunk on Mark Egan, Google him. And I can watch Dallara IR18s at Spa. Richie, your real-world racing career took you all around the globe, but unfortunately, I don't think it ever brought you here. Tell us a little bit about Spa.
Yeah, thanks, Soup. And folks, before I talk about the track, let me remind you that everything during the Countdown to Green comes courtesy of its sponsor, the Sim Pit. The Sim Pit's an entertainment channel dedicated to sim racing. Its focus is to bring you news, reviews, and information from around the world about sim racing hardware and software. It also focuses on what it takes to be a better sim racer with instructional video and how-tos that will help your performance on the virtual track. Check it out at thesimpit.com. And speaking of virtual tracks, let's talk about today's venue. And folks, here we are at Spa-Francorchamps, one of the most challenging and most beautiful tracks in the world. It really is a track where you feel like you're actually going somewhere instead of feeling like you're racing around a parking lot. The circuit is famous for its fast and dangerous corners, Eau Rouge and Blanchiment, both of which need to be taken flat out if you can to achieve a fast run onto the straights, which will aid a driver in both a fast lap and an overtake. It was designed in 1920 and originally laid out on public roads, which had 25 turns and was 14.9 kilometers, 9.3 miles long. After World War II, the course was shortened but remained one of the fastest road circuits in Europe and had a nasty reputation for being dangerous but rewarding when done right. In 1981 and again in 2007, for safety concerns, the track had to be shortened, cutting the distance in half, but still remains one of the fastest tracks in the world. The modern layout, which we are racing today, is still 4.35 miles long and still has 21 turns. But the best way to get an idea of what this place is really like, let's jump on board and take a lap.
All right, we've got Amjad Yaman in the GSRC Formula Renault 2.0, so let's do a lap around Spa. Coming down to La Source, this is likely to be a good overtaking spot. Watch out for the over-under though, because a corner this sharp really lends itself to overshooting the turn and compromising your exit. As you head down the hill past the old pits, bring the car off the right to set up for Eau Rouge. Even in these high downforce cars, you'll want to get single file because going too wide will slow both of you down tremendously. Straighten it out as much as you can to help carry your momentum over the top of the hill, and then from here, it's a drafting game all the way to Lacombe. Expect anyone relatively close to you to be able to suck up and probably slingshot past down the Kemmel Straight. It'll make your battles a lot more strategic and track position not nearly as important. Also, you can outbrake your opponents into Lacombe, so the fight isn't over once you reach the chicane. You can even defend from the outside if you're wily. From there, hold to the left to get a better run through Malmedy. The short blaster Ravage also opens itself up to surprise attacks. Just be wary into the downhill braking into this 180-degree bend. It's easy to understeer wide all through the corner. Switch sides quick and sells the car for no-name corner. Just a little lift will get you through, and then we head downhill towards Pouan. The entry to this double apexer is very quick, which makes it tough to be accurate. Thankfully, the paved runoff on the outside means you'll have an easier time recovering if you go a bit wide. Keep your foot in it on the second half, get back to the left, and spot your brake marker for Fanyes. It's a medium-speed chicane, so passing opportunities are few unless you get a huge run on the car ahead. Stay tucked to the right on the first half, and then let her fly around the second apex. The straight to Stavelo was a short one, so get back to the racing line quick. The first bend is the slower one, and honestly pretty critical to your lap time since you won't need the lift at the second bend. The long backstretch will certainly punish anyone who hesitates to get to the power, leaving the cars behind ample opportunity to breeze by. Just like the Kemmel Straight, strategic draft battles tend to erupt on the lower portion of the circuit. The run through Blanchiment is much easier in the Renault than you'd find in GT cars, and you'll stay flat-footed easily. Coming out of the corner, watch out for attack coming down to the bus stop. This is another spot where passes are popular, but this chicane can also create havoc occasionally. Tuck it into the apexes, but keep it off the giant sausage curbs because they'd send the car all out of whack. Make sure you nail the exit to keep yourself safe from lunges into La Source, and as you cross the line, you've now finished a lap around Spa.
When the aroma of chocolate mixes with the smell of engine exhaust, you must be at Spa, and if you weren't certain, Joe Peak just told you so. Now, GSRC officials didn't trust giving Amjad Yama the keys to the company IR18, so that lap was obviously in the Formula Renault. Now, the close points race was mentioned in the opening line of the broadcast. Let's take a moment to look at that in more detail. Keep in mind these numbers take into account the 3 drop races allowed for in the rules. They are, to put it simply, each driver's best 10 of 13 results. A second at Texas was enough to move Andrew Havoc at Kinsella to the top. The Adrenaline Motorsports driver leads his teammate Adam Blocker by less than 2 handfuls of points. Blocker has 4 wins, Kinsella 3, and Loud Pedals Brian Yazik in third also has 3 wins. Rookie Stefan Larkamp continues to impress, now into 5th. The Gap SRT driver is behind No Name Racing's Jason Galvin. A win at Texas moves Justin Weaver for 8 Ball Motorsports up 3 spots to 9th. And welcome to the overlay, Chris Sleepy Lanini, a better racer than a qualifier. The Dragonfly driver always manages to show up in the standings at the end of a race. Let's take a look at the team championship. And of course, that is sponsored by HPP Simulations. Once again, everyone is talking about controlled chaos. The team finished second on the day at Texas. Bob Micas in 4th, Samuel Ryman 13th, and Scott Bolster in 20th. Moving around, Dragonfly Racing, who finished 6th on the day. What about the leader, he asked? Well, with Kinsella and Blocker 1, 2 in the points, Adrenaline is going to be tough to catch, and they did indeed finish really well in 2nd place at Texas. All right, that takes care of the driver championship and the team championship. Let's go to Richie, talk about those rookies.
Yeah, and these Rookie of the Year standings are brought to you by Butt Kicker. Steven Larkamp sits 5th overall, as Soup just mentions, for Gap SRT. He's leading the championship by 71 points. He has a 2nd, 4th, 7th, and 3rd on the road courses, so he's right in his home base right here at Spa. Justin Weaver had an awesome win for Skidmark at Texas. It was his first career win, so he moves up. He stays in 2nd, but he's closed 71 points to him. The battle for 3rd is very tight with Bart Workman, Samuel Ryman, and Brian Beard all within 5 points of each other. Well, let's keep an eye on Alex Saunders. He's doing really great in the Retro Series. He's only raced once in this championship, but he has time to climb the ladder as he sits in 12th there.
Fortunately for all the drivers here today, it doesn't look like Saunders made an appearance, so that's going to make it a little easier on them. Now, of course, this is considered the premier fixed setup racing league for the Dallara IR18 on the iRacing service, and the Lionheart IndyCar Series honors the memory of the late Dan Weldon. No countdown to green would be complete without a trip to Professor Lugnut's setup corner. Professor, a few rounds back at Sonoma, you taught us about the differential. We learned about how the IR18 differs from a production car, and you explained how the IR18 is equipped with something called an auto-locking differential?
That's right, Soup. It allows the differential to lock or unlock based on the power and torque going through the differential. Essentially, when the car is going in a straight line, the differential is locked, forcing both rear tires to spin at the same speed. However, when the driver lets off the gas to brake for the corner, the differential unlocks until the driver picks up the throttle again on the corner exit. This allows the outside and inside tires to rotate at different speeds, improving cornering traction. Exactly when this occurs down to the ramp angle of the gears in the differential. Under braking, which is called the coast ramp angle, is the higher ramp angles will keep the differential locked for longer, making it harder to turn the car, which in turn induces understeer. Under acceleration, though, the power ramp angle, a higher ramp angle will cause the differential to lock sooner, which will improve acceleration. However, as too much power is applied, it can cause the tires to lose traction and the car to spin. By slightly changing the coast and power ramp angles, the car can be given very different handling characteristics, so it's very important for the setup team to get this component right.
And that is how Mona Lisa Visa got the Karate Kid off of murder charges when all he did was steal a can of tuna. It was all about the differential going on there. I know what's going on. Okay, since we've talked about the track, gone over the points, and we talked about Mona Lisa Vito and the Karate Kid, let's go ahead and talk about the race details.
Yeah, and these series details come to us thanks to the Sim Pit. We're in season 6 of the Lionheart series, round 14 of 24. They do get 3 drop events. We're obviously running the Dallara IR18. The setups are adjusted fix, and we're working on a cash and prizes totaling $6,402.
That's right, and one of those is going to be a set of pedals that you're going to win here from HPP Simulations, worth, I think, like almost $1,500. Looking there at the Racing Kangaroo, Michael Gray. Something about Michael Gray. He is making his 100th career start today. Congratulations to Michael Gray, racing from down under. You can see the beautiful sky. It's daytime here in Belgium, but in the real world, for Richie and I here on the west coast of the United States, it's a Wednesday night. And for the Racing Kangaroo, I believe it's a Thursday afternoon. Get a job, kid. Here we're looking at Brian Yozik, sitting third in the points.
I will say this car in this track combo is incredibly awesome to drive. I've driven a little bit of it, and the car is so fast and really handles this track well. So I'm looking to kind of seeing a really good event put on here.
We'll talk a little bit more about the race analysis, show you how far we're going in a minute and all the specs of the race, but there is an incident cap. And Richie, it's 17th. Usually the incident cap doesn't really come into play in the Lionheart series, but this is the kind of racetrack where you might find yourself getting close to that. You can steal a little bit here.
Yeah, this is one of the places where you can get really, really quick incidents racked up. There's a lot of places where you drop a wheel here, drop a wheel there. It is faster on some of those spots, but you pick those spots up really quick, those points.
Yeah, I think almost these drivers will almost can use those incidents as almost like a push to pass. Save a little bit for the end. You can cheat a little bit on a corner here, cheat a little bit on a corner there. Oops! That's Dylan McKenna. He's our spotlighted driver having an incident there today.
Yeah, unfortunately, they do have an incident cap too. So it's one of those things you're going to, like you said, save it up for the end. Take it easy at the beginning, and hopefully you have some in the bank, and you can start, like, you know, running a little wide, carrying a little more speed onto the straight, things like that. It's definitely part of the strategy.
Now, they do have push to pass here today. Again, our pit window is going to be really tight. We'll talk a little bit more about that, but we're looking at 2 stops. It's going to be really close, but I think there should be enough to use the push to pass. That's probably the only real in-car thing they get to play with. They don't get to play around with any of the tools, and that's why what Richie was talking about during the setup corner there when he was Professor Lugnut, how they get the car in and out is really important. Okay, it looks like qualifying is done. Let's go ahead and set the grid right now. On the front row, I believe it's going to be Adam Blocker inside Justin Weaver. Richie?
Next up will be Steven Larkamp, our Rookie of the Year leader. Dan Guerin will be right next to him in row 2.
Larkamp loves a road course. Michael Goodman and Andrew Kinsella, they go 5 and 6.
James Krahula and Samuel Ryman is going to be on row 4.
In his famous HPP simulation car, Brian Yozik in 9th, inside of Brian Beard.
Next up will be Bob Mikas in position 11 and Bart Workman right next to him in 12th.
In the Baker's Dozen spot is Tyler Graff. He's inside of Chris Sleepy Lanini. Good qualifying from Lanini today.
And next on the row behind them, we got our famous Racing Kangaroo Gray in 15th. Next to him will be Joe Branch.
One of the Hacker boys, Ron Hacker, in 17th, inside of Scott Bolster.
Ian Adams and Scott Johnson make up the next row.
Dylan McKenna, our spotlighted driver in the Hidden Blackjack today. He's going to be flanked by Joe Flanagan in the double duck spot.
Next row will be Chris Stouffer and Pierre Daigle.
Greg West and Big Joe Hassard go 25 and 26.
George Anzaldo in the 27th spot and Tony Schoen in the 28th position.
Row 15 populated by Matthew Mercer and Brian It's Not Easy Being Greenlee.
Next up will be Ed Tutwiler and Robert Bluen.
Brandon Limpkeman and Vincent Blumenthal go 33rd and 34th.
We have a couple people who didn't put times in, but we got Peter Edwins, Isaiah Dupree, and Jack Bogan rounding out the 37 car field.
34 put in qualifying times. Oh, and don't forget, when it is time to go racing, nothing beats the feel of a true hydraulic braking system brought thanks to HPP Simulations. You know, it's designed and manufactured in the USA on state-of-the-art CNC equipment. HPP hydraulic pedals and their accessories set the standard for simulation racing. For more information, please visit hppsimulation.com. And of course, they are giving out one of the prizes for the driver champion. Okay, we don't have too far to go. Let's see if we can get in our onboard cameras. We got Samuel Ryman in the butt kicker onboard camera. And King Tutwiler in the what was that, beers, games, and guys, games, and beers onboard camera. And it's not Brian. It's not He's being Greenlee in the HPP Simulation onboard camera. Okay, they are working their way through the bus stop. The start-finish line today. Sometimes it switches around at Spa. It's going to be right here after this bus stop before La Source. This is where they'll start the race. This is where they'll finish it. And my goodness, gather up the chickens. They cover behind the cows. And Adam Blocker has a huge lead out of the bus stop. They start gobbling them up. Stefan Larkamp moves up into second. Justin Weaver, Dan Guerin, and Andrew Kinsella, your top 5.
Yeah. We got a crash here in La Source there. They're blocked up against the wall. We have to wait for the whole field to go by.
Yeah, it was Brian Yosick that got turned around right in front. It looks like maybe Bob Mikas. Yes, and Mikas just had to sit there parked and waiting for everybody to go by before he get out. So then they get it rolling again. Well, they got some work to do. I guess if you're going to have a big mistake like that, you want to have it early.
Yeah, and Adam Blocker got a big run off that start, just kind of took off and gapped himself to Justin Weaver. Right behind him is Stephen Larkamp with Dan Guerin battling it out as well. So they're all stacked up, heading on down the hill. We had a bunch of people going to the pits on the start, so I don't know if that was a strategy thing or I don't know what that is. We'll have to figure that out.
Oh, there was a checkup, I guess, on the bus stop that caused a lot of people to pick up damage right even before we went green. So they just decided to come in and get that stop out of the way. All right, they are still negotiating as our leader has worked as well down through Kuhan now. The battle is for second. Look at Larkamp and Weaver.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. Adams kind of gapped himself to that, and Weaver and Larkamp are battling it out pretty strongly here. He's also got Dan Guerin and Michael Goodman behind them as well.
We talked about the top 5. I'll just give you the back half of your top 10. Michael Goodman, that Richard just talked about, Grahula. Samuel Ryman up there in 8th. Brian Beard and Bart Workman as they head down into the bus stop.
Yeah, that's a great start for Samuel Ryman. Starting right there in the 8th position, just holding tight. There we go. Oh, he's looking for a pass right on to La Source. It's really tricky to get a pass done there. You got to really commit because it tightens up, and it's really easy for the outside guy to pinch you down. But you want to try to get a good run down as we enter Eau Rouge, and that obviously leads on to the main straight where you get a really nice track.
These 4 drivers all took a pit stop. Ron Hacker, Dylan McKenna, Ian Adams, and Michael Gray. Not the way Michael wanted to start his 100th race. Look at that battle for second.
Yeah, Stephen Larkamp going basically right around Justin Weaver, or Justin Weaver going around Stephen Larkamp, sorry, making him go the long way. So nicely done. And now he's
Samuel Ryman. Oh my goodness, just in front of Ryman, it was James Grahula that got loose. And you know, it wasn't even Grahula's fault. It was Michael Goodman that starts this problem. There you can see Michael Goodman in the blue car. That scares Grahula. Grahula in the citrus-flavored car gets loose. And Samuel Ryman in the butt kicker. He gets a little haptic immersion as he runs into the back.
Yeah, that was unfortunate for Sammy. I really had nowhere to go. Like you said, it started 2 cars up. And fortunately, he's going to continue on. He has a little damage, but when he comes in for his pit stop, he'll get that front wing fixed.
A little damage to the nose there. That battle continues. Look at that going on. Now there's Degla. Ryman now back in 16th. And Sleepy Lanini in 18th there. Lanini, a notorious sandbagger, not the best qualifier, but when the race gets to the end, you can always see him up well ahead from where he qualified.
Oh, we got a spin in the hairpin there. I believe that was Stephen Larkamp. Lost it going into the hairpin and had to give up position. He's dropped a couple spots here, but had to give it up to Dan Guerin. Just got on the brakes a little too hard. Lost it in that first part.
Got it on the replay. Larkamp was in third at the time.
Yeah, it looks like he's almost got a little bit too much rear brake going in this corner. He gets on the brakes pretty hard, and here comes the rear end right around on him right there. And fortunately, he doesn't hit anything, but just loses one spot. So just kind of gather it up. Do have Andrew Casella going for a pass around Stephen Larkamp, going around the outside, heading down the straightaway. So Stephen Larkamp's going to lose another position.
Casella now up into fourth. The car that got around Larkamp on the first spin was Mr. Unlucky, Dandy Dan Guerin. We picked up a little good luck there. Oh my goodness, Joe Flanagan is barrel. It looks like this is out of Eau Rouge. Is that where that is? I think so. And he blinks on me, so this might have been a technical error because he just blinks away. And the next thing I know, he's in the wall. Let's see if our director... Nope, there's the blink. And then, boom.
Oh, man. Yeah, that's too bad. That's quite a crash there. Yeah, I just blinked at the wrong time. It could have been 5 seconds later. He would have been on the straightaway.
Not the place where you don't want to know where you are.
It's definitely one of the hardest parts of the track. You got to really commit to that line. And unfortunately, this car is looking pretty damaged there in the pits.
No fast repairs here in the Lionheart IndyCar Series. This is big boy racing. All this going on behind Adam Blocker, who has almost a 3-second lead now over Justin Weaver.
We got Stephen Larkamp looking to get past Andrew Casella. He's right on the back of him. They come up to the hairpin. Andrew's going to take the inside, make him go around the long way, but Stephen kind of eases and kind of sucks Andrew in, but Andrew's able to hold on, and they kind of hold position here as they cross the start-finish line. Starting to start lap 4.
Remember, Larkamp qualified third, has fallen back a spot after the spin, and then after he lost his rhythm, Kinsella got him as well. Kinsella, your point leader. Right now,
he's battling. He's battling tight with Adam Blocker, so he's got to get up there in a hurry.
That 2-car difference between them, Weaver and Guerin between them, he's probably doing the math right now.
Dan Guerin having a good run. He's had a lot of good runs this year, but a lot of bad luck, too, so we'll see if he can hold on tight.
There we go. Now we look at Greg West. This is out of La Source. No, yes, it is. Did this all by himself. He was right in front of Samuel Ryman. Boy, Sam's getting his money's worth for excitement today. Many cars go around him. Take another look at this from the driver who had the best view of it. This is just going around here.
Just got on the gas a little too hard. No traction control here, so you get on the gas a little too hard. I believe that's first gear corner for these guys too, so it's easy to just kind of put the power down and lose that rear end real quickly on you.
So here we are on lap number 4. Let's bring up our race analysis if we could real quick. We'll just show you how far they're going. It's only 29 laps, but look at the max fuel stint, about 10. So that's going to put a tight window right around 10, right around 20. Then you have your incidents, -3 for 12. And, of course, if you get to 17, we talked about it, you are DQ'd. You're off to the Amelia Earhart Bar and Grill. Sponsored by Lock Precision. Go ahead.
I was going to say, you're on the gas a lot here. So it's, I think, like 70% of the lap, you're full throttle. So it does burn a lot of fuel. And that's why you can only go about 10 laps before you got to pit. Still got a great battle for fourth here. Stephen Larkamp has not given up on Andrew Casella, so he's right on the back of him. They come to the hairpin, La Source there. See if he can get a good run. Andrew's a little bit wide, driving down the hill, up down to Eau Rouge. It's tough to kind of stay behind him with losing that front wing balance in the draft, but if you can, this is where you can kind of get that run. He does have a good
run, yeah. Let's stay on this. Let's see what kind of line that Havakech takes. He's going to move over to the left, leave the inside open.
Yeah, I was surprised. I was thinking he'd make him go the long way, but Steven's got the inside line, and as long as he doesn't blow the braking zone, good job. And he's taking back that 4th position. See if he can pull away and try to get back up to Dan Guerin.
That's the kind of fight you put up when you're the point leader and you realize that you're in the chase for the championship. Let's look at 11th position. This is a fun one. This is Scott Johnson and Chris Stouffer.
Yeah, they're battling tight too. They're coming in. This is a really tricky section. This whole place goes really steeply downhill. These corners are all off camber, so it's real important to get that entry right. And it looks like, yeah, that's he's right there on him. See if he can hang tight through this corner right here.
Some pretty good hard chargers as we look off the back of Johnson. Johnson started 20th. He's up 9 spots.
Yeah, Christopher 23rd to 12th, and even behind them, Big Joe 26th to 13th. So we do have some good chargers in this race.
Yes, indeed. There's Big Joe Hazard.
Yeah, Stephen Larkamp's been able to pull a little gap on Andrews, so Stephen's got his car hooked up, and Andrews trying to stay with him, but he's in no position to make a move. Meanwhile, Adam Blocker's just kind of dusting the field off at the moment. He's 3 seconds ahead of Justin Weaver. We got a long ways to go, but Adam's just doing his thing. He's very good on these road courses, and he's just trying to stay clean. I wouldn't be surprised if we have some lap traffic get into play as well, as we have a pretty heavy field here.
Let's leave our leader, jump back to 8th position. We haven't talked much about these guys. Joe Branch, he's got about a 5 or 6 car length lead on Bart Workman, who's sitting good in the rookie standings. They got quite a gap on Scott Bolster, but let's see if Workman here. I got a hunch that Workman coming out of our Rouge might not get there in time. 2 car lengths, 1 car length. Does he want to force the issue? He says yes. He dives it down in there. They are side by side, and he backs out.
Yeah, and as we were watching that, Andrew made me a liar. He was close enough to get the draft on Stephen Larkamp, so he's repassed Stephen for that 4th position. So there's a little bit of a seesaw battle. And like you said, right behind them, got a good battle with a bunch of people battling for those top 10 positions.
Richie, it looks like the preferred place is down into Lacombe's. I guess also into the bus stop. We haven't really seen a pass made yet. But if they get a good run out of Radion, boy, they get a nice dive down into 5.
Yeah, it's very good positions or places to pass in those 2 spots, like you said. It's just about getting that run off that corner. And both those corners have a high-speed corner leading onto it, so you got to be able to hang with them in the draft. And then if you can, you're just going to be able to suck right up to them and get right by them.
Let's go to P4 right now. I think there might have a chance at a pass. This is these guys are really Kinsella and Larkamp. They're having a fun race. Larkamp made a move, decided not to get there. Oh, and there's a mistake.
Andrew got on the gas a little too soon, and it gives that position. I was just going to say these guys are starting to also catch back up to Dan Guerin. So if these guys play nice, they might be able to leapfrog their way back up to and battle for that 3rd position.
You might want to complain to the setup team about the differential. There you go. Help you out, Andrew.
Too much ramp angle.
Oh, that's funny.
Wow, we got some, like I say, we got some big movers out there. Pierre Dago also 24th to 13th. Ooh,
oh,
guys, Greg West having a little bit of an issue in the chicane.
Looked just like what happened to Kinsella. So if that's any consolation, Greg, it happened to the points leader. Greg now down to 20th. He's ahead of Tony Schowen.
Christopher's not giving up on Scott Johnson for that 11th position. He is right on the back of him. Not too far in front of them is Scott Bolster, who's also battling. We got a 3-car battle there with Scott Bolster, Bart Workman. These guys are all battling pretty toughly here. We're getting close to that first pit window, so it goes by fast.
And we expect it to be a very tight window as we look on Chris Stouffer. They tell us they can go 10 laps. I always like to put 1 more in there because somebody's always can go 11. You did a little time in this car. You talked a little bit about the push. That's even though the IR18 likes to brag about not having a push, it still kind of has one, doesn't it?
Well, any open wheel car that has front wings on it in the front, I mean, you're always relying on that arrow. I mean, they've done a good job with the new IR18. It uses a little bit more of the under tray, but yeah, I mean, you get close enough, you're going to get some understeer. It's just a amount of timing it so and understanding it so it doesn't really cost you any time.
Richie, when you were racing, was that in the time of multi engines and multi? Oh no!
Ooh, that was just, yeah, that was a strange crash right there. Just got on the gas, made a hard left. Looked like what we saw at Monza there in the Formula One practice session. Here he comes, just on the gas, and whoop, there he goes. Rear end came around, and doesn't look like he hit anything, so he's going to be able to keep going without any damage, I think.
So let's follow up on my question. When you were racing, was it multi-engines, multi-chassis, or was it all pretty much one?
It was no. There was 5. There's the Ford, Mercedes, Honda, Toyota, and Chevy, and there was also Lola, Reynard, Swift. There's also Goodyear and Firestone. So
really?
There was a huge amount of combinations that you could run.
Those are the good old days.
I was just going to say the same thing.
That bolster in 90. Let's go on board with our driver in 15th position. Actually 17th. It is Brian, not easy beating Greenlee.
Yeah, and he's battling for 15th. So right in front of him is Isaiah Dupree and Samuel Reinman, who started 8th, but unfortunately got caught in somebody else's mess and has dropped himself back to 15th, but he's holding tight. Looks like he's pulling a little bit away from Isaiah, but Brian Greenlee is hanging tight. Started 30th, 17th. In front of him is Isaiah Dupree, who started 36th. I don't even think he put a qualifying time in, and he's all the way up to 16th, so kudos to him.
Greenlee out there with our onboard camera from HPP. You know, they're awarding a Formula Racing wheel valued at just under $1,500 to the season champion. The list of features is too long to mention during this No Yellow Flag Road event. So to get a complete understanding of how great HPP products are, visit hppsimulations.com. HPP, designed to go fast, built to last.
And as we are on board with Brian Greenlee, he made a bold move right around Blanchimont on the outside there, so move him up to 16th spot. So that was great camera work, great timing to watch that. So nice job to Brian. Now he's going to be trying to chase down. That was that Samuel Ryman that they passed?
It was indeed. Ryman back to 17th. Chris Lanini now back there looking at him. So a nice battle.
Yeah, sorry, I missed that. My bad. I missed that mistake by Samuel to drop those positions.
These guys are behind the driver in 5th, Isaiah Cousin Dupree out there racing in 15th.
Once again, up front, not missing anything. Adam Blocker's increased his lead to 4.3 seconds over Justin Weaver, who has a little bit of a gap over Dan Guerin. Meanwhile, Stephen Larkamp and Andrew Kinsella are still going at it for that 4th and 5th position. So nothing's changed up front in the top 5.
Larkamp putting you can see him just in the back of the screen coming in. There's Dan Guerin all by himself. Nobody caused Dandy any problems. There's Larkamp, who's began to put a little gap between him and Kinsella. Why don't we take this opportunity before the pit stop to run down the back half of your top 10. We haven't talked much about Michael Goodman. Started in 5th, has dropped a position. He's all by himself. 5 seconds in front, 5 seconds behind. This guy's having a great race. Brian Beard, 7th, started 10th, up 3 spots again. Nobody to race with. Oh, and it looks like stops are happening.
Oh, everybody's coming in. It is lap 10. I think you got a small window. I don't think there's much room to play, but that pit entrance is really tricky. You can see how narrow it is. So it's really important to get a good run, but don't crash into the wall. And the pit exit is tricky as well because it's very tight coming out of that.
And because this is the Grand Prix configuration, we don't have to go around the McDonald's. Well, you do actually leave, and you go around the McDonald's order. You order the clown there. I guess that would be Jack in the Box. And then you back out.
Adam Blocker's already out and away. And, ooh, Andrew Kinsella gets a great stop there. It's coming out right behind Stephen Larkamp. But for some reason, Dan Guerin is still in his box. I don't know what happened. He's not moving. He's moving now, but he's lost a couple of spots. So I don't know what happened, if he missed a spot and he had to back up. I missed that.
Maybe a speeding penalty, perhaps. I'll start looking at the numbers, and if they're about 15 seconds above what everyone else is doing. That's actually even too long to be a speeding penalty. Most stops were about 9 seconds. His was 26. That's a speeding penalty plus a couple. Nevertheless, Guerin runs into oh, Dan. I don't know. You're down in ninth. Come on, baby, get it back.
It looks like Justin Weaver as well has had a 22-second pit stop, and he was in second. He's dropped all the way down to sixth. So he had a rough time in that first stop as well. Gave up a lot of position. So that's moved up Stephen Larkamp basically up to second place, I believe.
Larkamp took his stop. Now, what's interesting, Scott Johnson is out there, and Kinsella's right behind him. Kinsella is sandwiched between Johnson and Daigle. I think both of those guys are going to come in this time, but this might not be where Andrew wants to be. Fourth overall. I guess it would be third, I guess, once Johnson gets out of the way.
Yeah, but he obviously squeezed out an extra lap, which might come into play on that last pit stop, be able to take a little less fuel, because that's your limiting factor here, is how much fuel you're taking on how long you're sitting in that box. But, yeah, Stephen Larkamp got a great run off that out of that pit spot, and has kind of gapped himself. Here comes Andrews, going to go around the outside of Scott. Scott's obviously going to pit, but that's kind of caused Andrew a little bit of a headache, and he's lost his drafting partner up there.
Okay, I don't, page 17 of the GSRC Commentator's Handbook says put in drama whenever you can. Some of the drivers pitted at the end of lap 9. That means if they kept that again, they pit at the end of lap 18 and the end of lap 27. That would make them short. So they're going to have to go another lap if they want to get there on just 2 stops. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I mean, obviously some of those guys made the extra lap, so it can't be done. And maybe everybody just pitted early, take the tires, and they know I don't know. We'll see. We'll find out what happens on this second round. But right now, Adam Blocker has really gapped Stephen Larkamp. He's got 14 seconds, so no problems for him. Little drama for second and third there, but these guys are kind of close up. It looks like Andrew's trying to tighten that gap up, pick up that draft, and see if he can battle for second place, as he's got the points battle to think about.
Yeah, and honestly, when you take it, you drill down a little bit on it. Guerin's problem is not really that good for Adam Blocker. That was a little bit of a cushion between him and Kinsella.
Yeah, I mean, Adam definitely wanted to see a couple guys in between there, so it didn't help Adam, but it definitely helped Andrew. So we got Dan Guerin's down to 7th place now, right behind Brian Beard. And, I don't know what happened. We'll try maybe find out later on, but definitely had a rough stop there.
So everyone pretty much comes out in the same order they were racing before. They move up a bit. We've talked about your top 5. Let's go down to 6th position. I'll just run you through these real quick. Scott Johnson. There you're looking at Dan Guerin in 7th, and he's working, trying to get up to Scott Johnson. He's got first to get there. He's got to get around Brian Beard. We're fooling you. Let's go ahead and get this right. Let's go to 6th place right now, and that would not be Johnson. That would be Brian Beard. Now, Brian Beard is under battle. Our director was on this better than the commentator. He's under attack right now from Dan Guerin. We expect Dan's going to be able to get him pretty soon, so we'll keep an eye on that one. Let's drop back. We'll finish out those last 3 drivers at the top 10. Bart Workman, not that far behind, just going around La Source right now. Scott Bolster, and then just negotiating with La Source, Joe Branch.
Yeah, those guys are battling out pretty tightly there. I mean, Brian Beard and Dan Guerin and Bart Workman are all fairly close. Bart's a little bit farther back, but Brian's right in front of Dan Guerin.
Yeah, let's go to Guerin right now. He's got a nice run, and he ducks to the inside. Nope.
Ooh, not quite there. So he's going to have to go at least another half a lap. His next passing opportunity is going to be probably going into Blanchimont, or after that into the chicane.
We ride on board. And then in a minute, I have found a nice juicy battle for you here as soon as we leave Guerin. Look at Guerin work that wheel.
I think I know exactly where you're going there, sir.
They are lined up and they are hungry. There's Dan Guerin and let's go to 11th position, director here, as I think Guerin's going to get that one. My spidey senses are tingling.
Yeah, just behind them, Brian Greenlee just made a move on Isaiah Dupree. Pretty bold move on the outside, and he's right behind this group that you're talking about, so it's going to be a group of 4 fairly quickly.
Johnson just does get Hassard. Cousin Dupree in there now in 13th. Isaiah looking for a way around. And then not far back is the battle that Richie was talking about. Ryman, Greenlee, Daigle, Lanini. Some good racing going on back here, 11th to 20th.
I'm seeing a lot of off tracks as well early on in this race, so those are going to rack up pretty quickly. I mean, 12 incident points to get -3 points on the total.
I like that camera angle there. That was getting a little bit artsy as our director. Look at this! Oh my goodness!
Side by side. That's a tough place to go side by side. They gave themselves room, but we got a huge battle here. Oh, and Ryan loses it going into the chicane.
Like my mom said, you are having too much fun.
Pierre Daigle said, "Thank you very much." There he is, just a little bit too hard on the brake and too much speed. I did that plenty of times in practice, so you're not alone there, Brian.
So we come back live.
Let's look in on all the way down to 18th. So
here's Big Joe Hassard now in 12th, being attacked by Isaiah Dupree. I think Dupree's going to make this move. He dives it down in. This is the passing spot, and Dupree gets the pass. Nice move. Up to 12th from 36th. Oh, but he didn't qualify. Let me take that back. Up from 12th from 36.
Oh, Big Joe's going to get another person passing. It looks like Samuel just went by Big Joe. Big Joe's kind of losing his rhythm there a little bit.
Simon driving in the Martinizing dry cleaning or delivery car. I think Martinizing is a dry clean. They deliver your dry clean? We'll have to talk to Sam about that. That would be a good thing.
Yep, P3 and 4. I was just going to say that Justin Weaver is right on the back of Andrew. So, you know, he hasn't been able to catch up to Steven, but now he's got to worry about Justin Weaver right all over. And they're coming to that best passing zone going down into Eau Rouge. And this is where he's going to get that draft. I have a feeling he's going to get this done.
Oh, he's got a good run, doesn't he?
He's got. I mean, there's nothing you can do if you're Andrew. There's just nothing you can do. All you can do is hopefully let him by, and then maybe suck him in at braking a little bit late, and just stay with him and get back by him the next time. But great job by Justin Weaver making up those spots he lost in his pit stop.
Talked about the different dynamic from doing this and the race that I just called in the SRFs, where you can actually make the pass too soon. The straight was so long that you make the pass, the guy you pass tucks back in behind you and gets you one more chance going down into the. We'll go to Beard.
Yep.
Brian Beard
was running in 7th spot here and just kind of loses it going into that chicane there a little bit. The turn at the end of the straightaway a little too fast. Fortunately, it doesn't hit anything, but he does lose 2 spots.
Bart Workman vultures 1, as does Scott Bolster.
Yeah, Samuel Ryman now is right on the back of Scott Johnson, so Samuel's done a good job kind of clawing back the unfortunate issue he had at the beginning. He's got a good car here, so he looks like he's feeling pretty good about it.
He is feeling good about it. He was racing up front, and they had that mistake, unusual for Sam. And now he's got a shot here on Scott Johnson. I'm going to force the issue here. No, let's wait a little bit, Sam. Let's do it down into the bus stop.
Yeah, and while this battle goes on, Justin Weaver got by Andrew Kinsella, and he's kind of left him in the dust. I thought Andrew would be able to kind of stick with him, but Andrew's struggling a little bit right now to kind of stay with those guys. So he's in 4th spot, and that's going to be big on the points at the end of this event, as Adam Blocker's got 15 seconds on 2nd place. So, Adam's got nothing to worry about. All he's got to do is just run clean laps and do one more good pit stop.
Okay, I think we've pushed our luck long enough. We better go to our spotlighted driver here before something bad happens to him. Bring him up right now, and we'll talk about him. You're going to get to see him go live, and then our recorded version. There he is. We're talking about Dylan McKenna. He's a rookie. He only has 9 starts, but I did a little research so we can talk a little bit more about Dylan here. He's got the 9 starts. Let me tell you, though, some other stuff about him if I can find. How about this? He's well down in the standings, but his best starting spot was 19th at Motegi. That's the same race where he had his best results. He came home 12th there. He's got no top 5s, no top 10s, but he does own a top hat. He wears that on special occasions. His first race was at Homestead, opening round this season.
Yeah, Ryman just made another pass here, so we got a good replay of this coming up. He's moving his way back to the field, but made a good move in Scott Johnson. He's got that draft going through Eau Rouge. Here he goes. It's the inside. There's really nothing that he can do to block him there. Just kind of got to give the position up. Nicely done.
Talking about nothing you can do to block him, our contract calls for us to put the camera on the leader every once in a while. So let's go ahead and look at, not block him, but blocker, Adam Blocker. Well, he's got himself a 15-second lead over Stefan Larkamp. My goodness.
Yeah, he just took off from the start and hasn't looked back. So he's got nothing where he is coming up some lap traffic, but he's got enough of a gap there. He can take it a little bit easy.
Why don't we give Blocker a little screen time and give a little screen time to Brandon Lipkeman as well here. I think the way that Blocker is going, he's going to be on him pretty quick. I can report while that was going on, Robert Bluen had an off, nothing to go to. There we go. Now they're going to come down into Puhan.
Yeah, Adams, like I say, he's got enough of a gap. He can just wait until they get down to the entry of Blanchemont. He should be able to get around them as they come out of this section of the track.
Lipkeman, a veteran of this series. And I think he should be able to get it here.
Yep, and here's the spot. Just get a good run off this corner, pick up that draft. Looks like he's going to let him by. So, you know, nicely done there by Brandon Linkerman. And away he goes.
Oh, I talked about Robert Bluen. I just heard a car either blow up or have an incident. I don't see it on my timing and scoring. Might have been Bogan. Nevertheless, he was farther down the order. We don't need to go there. We won't embarrass Jack. We are working lap number 15.
Everybody's kind of a little spread out now. Not many heavy battles. Everybody's about a second apart at the minimum, so nothing to report. Just guys are just kind of filling out the middle of the race, waiting for that final pit stop, and then they'll pick it back up and get those final positions taken care of.
Well, you know, when you got nothing to do, you may want to check in on Games, Guys, and Beer. They got a podcast. You don't want to miss that. Join the Gutter Geeks every week as their panel of veteran gamers talk about the latest and oldest in video and tabletop gaming. Whether it's interviews with today's developers, nostalgic reminiscing about yesterday's classic hardware, or just sitting around the table talking about games while throwing back a few beers, you're sure to have a great time. For more information, visit guysgamesandbeers.net.
We do have Justin Weaver. He's closing in on Stephen Larkamp, so he's raced his way back. And they're all in heavy traffic, so this is kind of coming into play for Justin, who was our winner last time. Had a popular win there. He's pretty excited about that. But Stephen Larkamp's coming up to a couple of cars, and this is going to get interesting here in a second. As you can see up there goes Stephen Larkamp around the outside of one of the lap cars, and it's going to slow his momentum down as they come onto that backstretch.
That was Robert Bluen doing a good job of getting out of the way of both Larkamp and Weaver. Now those two leaders have to negotiate Vincent Blumenthal in car number 22, that fluorescent machine.
Looks like Steven's going to get a good run on him. He's going to give him the outside line, break a little early, give him that chicane, but oh, he doesn't give up. Man, he doesn't give up. He didn't give much. Oh, he's coming into the pits.
Well, that's one way to do it.
Yeah, that was a little strange there. Like you said, you think he had a problem earlier, but it's definitely closed the gap between Weaver and Larkamp. So Weaver's right on the back of him. He's going to be in the perfect position to pick up that toe out of Eau Rouge. And there they go, coming down to Eau Rouge. You can see he's right on the back of him, so he's going to get a good run here. He's in a perfect spot. It's one of those things like Steven can't do anything about it. I mean, he can't just block, so pick a lane, let him go by, and then see what happens.
Look at him close. My goodness. He is not only on his way in this race, and I'm talking about Justin Weaver, he's on his way in the point standings as well. He loves a road course. Now, another interesting battle is a little farther back. Kinsella in fourth. Coming is Michael Goodman. And Kinsella's got himself some lap trap to get around George and Zaldo. Goodman is back there trying to negotiate Robert Bluin.
Yeah, and Andrew not that long ago, was battling right there for third spot, and he's just kind of faded down a little bit. So I don't know what's happened, but he's definitely let Goodman kind of get up to the back of him.
Yeah, I think based on pace, I think it's going to be a while, but I think Michael's going to be able to get there eventually. We're working lap number 18. We're getting close to that second pit stop window.
Now they're going to have to go at least one more lap if they want to make it on one more pit stop.
And our leader says no to pit lane. Gets around Hacker. That next car he's got to negotiate there is Tony Schowen. That's for the double duck spot. Tony up 6 positions. Tony's just going to move over, do a little lift. Nice job.
We got Justin Weaver in the pits, so that's interesting. So we'll see if he has a good pit stop this time, because he didn't last time. But we'll see how this plays out. Because one thing, if you're in traffic like he's in, you might as well just come in if you can make it, because you're just losing time on the track. So maybe he decided just come out, get some clear laps, and put down some fast laps, see if he can make some time on Adam Blocker.
So he pits at the end of 18, although his box is on the other side of the start-finish line. So this is lap 19. He's got to go a little farther than he had before to get to 29.
Yeah, I think he's right at the limit. And as he comes out of the pits, he's not by himself, so he needs to clear this lap traffic in order to make this work. Oh, it's not lap traffic. That is for position. Yeah, so he came out in a decent spot, but still, he's going to have to run some clean lap. I mean, basically, that's what he's thinking. Come out, do some fast laps. Hopefully, he doesn't get held up.
Well, he doesn't have to wait too long, because Brian Beard's going to have to make his stop here pretty soon, too. But as they battle for 8th position.
But this right here is where he's going to get held up all in this section, and it's going to kill his lap. So he's right behind. Man, you can't get much closer than that. And so it's not really going to be a play for first, because he was too far away from Adam. But it's going to be a play for Andrew, basically, Kinsella and Larkamp.
Blocker is in. That's exactly right. He is racing Larkamp on the other side of the track right now, and Kinsella. Larkamp just coming down to the bus stop. He should be making the first part of the bus stop, and then he won't have to negotiate the second part. He'll just go straight and make a stop.
As our leaders in as well. We should pretty much see everybody in the front and the top part of the field coming in at this point.
So where is
they can go farther than this? They're cheating.
Yeah. So where is Weaver? You may ask. Well, he got around Brian Beard. He's now in through Blanchimont. He'll be heading towards the bus stop, but these stops are pretty quick.
Yeah, and he's got traffic as well, so he's not all by himself. But here he comes. He's coming to the chicane. Where is Steven Larkamp at the moment? Steven Larkamp's just stopping.
Kinsella is stopped as well. They sit, they wait. Now they start to roll.
This is going to be close. This is going to be real close. Here comes Steven Larkamp. Looks like he's going to get the position, and I think he does. I think he undercut him there.
How fast can those IR-18s get going? Well, it looks like pretty fast, but here comes Weaver. He's got a head of steam. He reaches up his right hand, gives a little wave to Larkamp, and he goes by.
So made it work, but it was probably closer than he thought it was going to be. That the cars he came out racing with kind of held him up, but he's definitely made it work.
17.5 seconds behind Blocker, but now Weaver ahead of Larkamp. Kinsella back in fourth.
Yeah, Kinsella's back to basically 4th position. Michael Goodman's closed up a little bit on him, but not much of a challenge just yet. Dan Guerin, unfortunately, you know, whatever mistake happened in the pits, he hasn't been able to make that up, so he sits there in it's like 6th spot.
Yeah. He's done what he could, but I think he's got around Johnson and some of the other cars, but he's got almost 7 seconds now to get to Michael Goodman, and Goodman's no slouch, so that's going to be a tall order for him to get any more than 6th.
Yeah, Michael Goodman's got a healthy gap on him, so Dan's kind of running on his own. Does have Scott Johnson behind him, but I think Dan can take that.
All right, how about 10th? Bart Workman. He's got about 8 car lengths on Joe Branch.
Yeah, Joe Branch, Brian Beard racing hard. I was going to say, these guys are all racing hard right now for that 10th position.
This will be fun. That's Blumenthal in the citrus-flavored car trying to get out of the way. There goes Workman. There goes Branch. And here comes Brian Beard. Up front, Workman now under attack. Joe Branch looking, Workman trying to take his half out of the middle. Now he weaves to the left. Joe's got to be saying, pick a lane. And look how Beard is right there.
Yeah, it's a good three-way battle here for that 10th spot. This could be a little bit ugly as we come down to La Source hairpin. Takes a look on the inside. It's going to leave the outside open as well. And here we come, down to Eau Rouge.
Well, Beard might be in the best position here to at least get Branch. He's only about 2 car lengths back. Got to be careful about getting in the wash. Oh, he's in good shape. He'll get a tow there. Let's see. I don't think Branch is going to have anything for Workman. It looks like Beard's not going to force the issue either. And Beard.
Looks like he might be stuck, or he's just waiting for cars to go by, but there he goes. Yep. I thought it maybe he had been high-centered there, but yeah, we've seen that mistake a couple times, just coming in a little too fast, and the rear end comes around on you.
Could have been more.
Yeah, could have been worse, yeah.
Just 1 position to Samuel Ryman. Hey, Sammy up into 10th.
But he does have some guys behind him looking to kind of take position here. Got Isaiah Dupree.
And Dupree's coming. He's the light flavored car in the back there in 13th. That's Brian Beard after the spin in 12th and running up behind Scott Johnson. JJ having a good run in 11th.
Yeah, he started, Scott Johnson started 20th, so he's having a good run. Here we go. Gonna try to make a move into the hairpin, or into the chicane, sorry. Not quite there. Meanwhile, Adam Blocker's just kind of running away with it, so no drama up front. He's got healthy 17-second lead on Justin Weaver.
We stay on this one here for a minute. Workman, let's see what Branch can do now. He's within striking distance. It's a good run here to Eau Rouge. Oh, I like it. Let's see if he forces the issue. About 6 car lengths back. About 4 car lengths back. Oh, here comes the head of steam. Woo!
That's how you do it. Like I say, there's nothing you can do if you're the guy being passed. You just got to watch it happen and try to stay with them and maybe return the favor next lap around. But you just can't, if the guy gets a good run, you can't do anything about it.
See that maybe something that happened to Brian Greenlee, but I'm not seeing it. Brian not having a great run this time. Do a quick on board with the HPP onboard camera. Brian Greenlee back in 18th. How's that compared to where he started? Well, 14 or started in 30th, so that's okay.
battle for third is starting to heat up a little bit. Andrews closed the gap on Steven Larkamp as they come to La Source, and Michael Goodman's just, you know, about a second behind them, 2 seconds behind them. So this battle, Andrews kind of come alive again, and Andrews going to try to get that podium position, but Steven's running well.
Yeah, I have it marked on my clipboard where Goodman was when we talked about it. It was 2 seconds. He's dropped a second, so I don't know if Michael's going to be able to get there. He's got no pressure from Dan Guerin in fifth, so this is Have a Catch has a chance to run down Larkamp. Boy, does Stefan love a twisty course.
Yeah, he's put in some really good runs here, and that's brought him up to fifth in the points and in the overall points, and also leading the rookie championship as well.
Yeah, we talk about it every time we come to one of these road courses when we do the rookie standings, how well he does. GSRC first got to know Stefan Larkamp in the AOR, when he was racing in the Renault. Stepped up to the higher powered car, doing really well.
Still got a good battle here with Brian Beard, Isaiah Dupree, and Scott Johnson battling for that 10th, 11th, 12th spot. Here they come down the straightaway here. He's going to, looks like Isaiah Dupree is going to get a good run on Scott Johnson. Here we go. Here's the best passing spot. Nothing you can do. See if he makes a move. I don't know if he's there. No, he's going to just stay with him. Sammy Ryman doing a good job, making his way back to 10th spot. I know he was 8th, but he's climbed his way back up to after that first incident.
And we ride on board with Samuel Ryman in the butt kicker onboard camera. And you know what I'm going to talk about? If you're a sim racer looking to add that missing driver-to-car connection, bringing more realism to your session, butt kicker is the way to go. A butt kicker moves actual mass, producing a haptic immersion. That's powerful and accurate. See all the family of butt kicker products at thebuttkicker.com. Use the promo code LION20 to get 20% off your order. Love that plug.
Top 5 hasn't changed anything. Adam Blocker, Justin Weaver, Steven Larkamp, Andrew Kinsella, and Michael Goodman all kind of holding steady.
Yeah. Let's go to 12th. We had to jump you around so much, but this is a good one. This is Johnson ahead of Dupree and Pierre Nightingale in there. Oh, Dupree makes a mistake, so that's not going to be as exciting as I thought it was going to be out of La Source, as Daigle kind of vultures that spot. That's good news for Johnson. Let's see.
That's actually probably a good job for Isaiah Dupree, because now he's in position to pick that draft up. But this is a good 4-car battle going on.
Dupree gets a good run out of La Source. I don't know if but I keep fooling myself with the run that these guys get. Johnson out in front, he looks safe. Daigle, I think it's going to be safe. Dupree is going to be safe as well.
Yeah, and Diego just sent it into that braking zone to close right on the back of Scott Johnson, but no positions being changed. But this battle is definitely heating up between these three. And just in front of them, it looks like Brian Beard is not very far away.
I think we can afford to stay on this one a little bit longer. Let me check in on Weaver, see what he's up to, and Larkamp. No, I think we're safe there. So let's go ahead and watch a little bit of racing for a while without giving you an MTV music video. There's Dupree. We go on board with Isaiah.
Yeah, these guys are all nose tail. I have a feeling we're going to see some action here pretty soon between these three guys with only 5 laps to go.
We like to tell the story here at GSRC, but sometimes it's just fun to get in here. This is when my wife says I watch the broadcast not only with my eyes but with my feet. When we go on board, she watches my feet work the pedals that aren't there as I'm sitting in my recliner. Daigle out in front. Head down to the bus stop. Boy, no, nothing going on.
Not far behind, up in front of them is Bart Workman battling out with Joe Branch, going for that 8th spot. Barton's right behind him as they go into Eau Rouge, as you can see on screen. He's gonna get the run. Once you can't stop it. So here he comes.
Here he comes.
Joe's going to pick a
Brent.
lane. Going to pick the outside. Oh, he's just going to hang out. I don't think he's going to make a move. I don't. That's interesting.
Maybe Bart got fooled by the late lane change by Branch. Maybe Workman thinking, well, I'm not going to go anywhere. I'll just sit back here for a while.
Well, it must be one, and also one of those things. If he gets around him, it's just going to give Joe a chance to get back around him. So you might be waiting for that last lap to make that move. He's got no pressure behind him from Samuel, and these guys are kind of racing on their own. So this is their race for that spot, and just wait till the last minute.
We can stay on it a little bit, and we'll see if Workman does make a move. We'll stay with him and see what he does down into the bus stop here, and then we'll jump back and we'll watch. We'll see what Johnson and Daigle do down into the bus stop. We continue to look at both battles. 4 laps to go. Not much happening up front. We're watching the best battle on the track right now. Looks like Workman's too far back right now, unless he really wants to force the issue.
Yeah, I think he's just kind of taking it easy, waiting for that last lap pass. Pierre Daigle's closed right on the back of Scott Johnson. They've kind of left Isaiah back a little bit, so it's now become basically a 2-car battle instead of a 3-car battle.
Then we got another one. We got Big Joe Hazard and Sleepy Lanini. Oh, I love Chris's car. Lanini's car, that bright blue and yellow machine. Lanini's got a chance at Hazard here.
Yeah, even though Big Joe's running 16th spot, he did start 26, so he's moved up fairly well in this race.
Let's go ahead. We have time. Let's go. Oh, Chris, careful. Let's stay on this for a bit. Let's watch them all the way through. Eau Rouge and Radion down into La Source, and we'll see. Chris, this is your chance to be a star. Let's make this pass here.
Yeah, let's do it. Get that run off of La Source. Go right through the Eau Rouge flat out. Hang with them, and the pass is yours.
About 5 car lengths back. He needs a good drive out of here.
This is where you can see that thing suck right up to the back of them, right there from that onboard shot. And yep, he's gonna go. He's gonna go for it. Big Joe takes the outside. Chris Lanini's on the inside. They're drag racing themselves down, and Big Joe kind of gets off the gas, brakes a little early, gives them the spot, and Chris Lanini up to 16th.
3 laps to go. This has all been Adam Blocker. 18 seconds up on Justin Weaver. Not much going on in this. Weaver's got about 5 seconds on Larkamp. Now, this is interesting, though. Larkamp and Kinsella. Kinsella hanging in there.
Yeah, Kinsella was struggling a little bit in that middle stage, but he's picked the pace back up. And, I mean, Larkamp is definitely a possibility to get that 3rd position. And once again, this is big on the points. You know, as Adam's having a trouble-free race out front.
Oh, here's Larkamp, but here comes Kinsella on behind him. Not going to get there.
I don't think he's not close enough to get the pass, but he's definitely close enough to stick with him and maybe make that pass into Blanchimont.
Oh, Bob Mikas. Is that happening right now as we speak? I believe so. The Von Hansen meat machine. Is this current? No, wait a minute. Maybe I'm wrong about this. Sorry, director. I might have fooled you on that one. He had a mistake coming out of the bus stop. And my timing and scoring went there, but I guess that's wrong. So Bob back there still racing 1 lap down in 22nd. We continue to look at this battle for 12th.
Yeah, I was just looking at that myself, Soup. So Pierre Daigle is right behind Scott, and they've kind of dragged themselves up to Brian Beard. He's not that far in front of him, and that's a 3-car battle now for 11th position. Here comes Pierre Daigle. He's got the draft. Looks like he's going to pull on out. And not quite. No, not quite. Scott's going to outbrake him. Pierre kind of settles back behind him, but this is a good battle going on the track. Probably the best battle so far. Andrew Kinsella will go back to that. He is right on the back of Stephen Larkamp.
Oh my, Justin Weaver has to make a late pit stop.
Remember,
heard it from Soup first, Richie. Go ahead.
Right, I was going to say, he pitted a lap earlier than everybody. I thought he could make it, but man, that's really going to be bad news for him. He's going to lose a lot of positions That's going to move Andrew Kinsella and Steven Larkamp up to second and third. Big for the points battle as well. That's unfortunate.
And speaking of that, we're looking at it right now. Here comes Kinsella. Honestly, I think Kinsella's just waiting for that second spot. Maybe do it down into the bus stop on the last lap, then play defense. Andrew's pretty sneaky.
Yeah, I mean, there's no way he's going to get up to Adam, so this is like his one move he's got to make to get that second spot, and he is pretty smart. So he obviously sees that he's now in third, and he can easily get second, and that will definitely lessen the points that Adam gains on him.
With the pit stop from Weaver, that moves Dandy Dan Guerin up into a top 5. Good job, Dan. There he is, racing all by himself. Of course, he's not home yet. There's plenty of bad luck that he can find in the next 2 laps. I love you, Dan, but come on. Okay, our leader does not go in the pits. No. And he gets the white flag.
Yeah, and unfortunately, that's moved Justin Weaver. It looks like down to 6th spot. So from 2nd to 6th to just on that fuel issue. And that's moved Dan Guerin and everybody else up 1 position. So that's too bad.
Larkamp through the bus stop.
There they go.
Right behind him. Oh, my goodness.
And we got some lap traffic to come into play as well.
That maybe will actually help. Maybe Larkamp. Maybe he can get a little bit of a tow. No, that guy's going to get out of the way. That is Dylan McKenna, our spotlighted driver.
All right, so we'll just stay on board here with Andrew. This is going to be his spot. If he's going to be able to do it, this is where it's going to happen. So he's got the draft. It's going to be right behind him, and there's really nothing that Steven can do but just kind of drive, make him go around the long way. Andrew pulls out. Here he goes. He's going to pull on out, and side by side. Wow, they're battling it out tough. Steven Larkamp's not giving up. Andrew's not giving up. Side by side, and finally Andrew's going to take that position. So great job by both these guys, racing clean, but the inevitable happened.
That was worth the wait to see that one. Meanwhile, our leader is working through 14 and 15. This has Blanchimont to go. He's a ways away. There he is, Adam Blocker. You remember him? Wire to wire. He's got a 26-second lead on Steven Larkamp. I know it'd be Andrew Kinsella now. Kinsella made that pass.
And somewhere along the line, we missed the pass Pierre Dago got by Scott Johnson, so Pierre's moved himself up to 12th.
Blocker through the bus stop. Round number 14. The HPP Grand Prix of Belgium goes to Adam Blocker. Let's stay on Larkamp. Is he going to be able to fend off? All right, Kinsella out in front. Larkamp has one more shot at him.
Whoa, this is going to be tight coming through Blanchimont. This is going to be it. It's going to be heroes or zeros. As we come into the, Andrew takes the inside lane. I think he's got it.
A little bit of a stumble, a little bit of a drive off. The start-finish line is going to come up not soon enough for Andrew Kinsella.
Oh, wow, that was close. Andrew didn't get much of a drive off that last corner, but I think he snuck by and got that second spot.
Kinsella gets second. Larkamp is going to get third.
There it is from our chopper right there up above. That's how close it was. That was the finish line. So if that finish line was any farther down, that would have been all about Steven Larkamp.
Michael Goodman gets fourth. Dandy Dan Guerin comes across in fifth. Weaver has to settle for sixth after his pit stop. A quiet seventh for Bolster. Branch gets the best of Workman, and rounding out your top 10, Samuel Ryman. Oh my goodness. That was a fun one indeed as the rest of the cars come across to finish on their final lap.
Yeah,
all right.
Beard coming in 11th there.
And as they come across the line, the racing is over here at Spa, but the broadcast is far from done. We're going to take a short break before returning to bring you the Plasma Tracks Victory Lane post-race show. You're watching the Global Sim Racing channel via the iRacing Esports Network.
The Sim Pit is an entertainment channel dedicated to the world of simulated motorsports. The Sim Pit is a leader in providing the sim racing community with news, reviews, interviews, DIY pieces, and instructional videos to make sim racing a better experience for all. Check us out at thesimpit.com or go to YouTube and just search for The Sim Pit.
Welcome back to the GSRC and the Plasma Tracks Victory Lane post-rain show, coming your way via the iRacing Esports Network. If you're struggling to find something for the person who has everything, do I have the website for you? Plasma-tracks.com not only produces original racetrack wall art, motorsports trophies, home decor, and motorsports fabrications are also available. Words cannot do justice to the uniqueness of their wares. The only way to fully appreciate their artwork is to see it for yourself. But be warned, one visit and the next thing you know, you'll be trying to convince your spouse why you need a Plasma Tracks wall art hanging in your home. See it all at plasma-tracks.com. Use the promo code LRS2018 to get 25% off your order. And now let's bring up 100% of the HPP finishing order here for the HPP Grand Prix of Belgium. And it was indeed Adam Blocker going wire to wire ahead of Andrew Kinsella, who holds off Stefan Larkamp for second place. Michael Goodman gets third. Dan Guerin, after making a mistake, comes all the way back to get a fifth place finish. If your nickname is Soup, you know how many ladles are in a tureen, and I was a little worried that Justin Weaver would run out of broth, and sure enough, he had to come in and take a third pit stop. He has to settle for sixth. He was looking for a second place finish. Scott Bolster, Joe Branch, Bart Workman, and Samuel Ryman round out your top 10. Richie?
Yeah, coming in 11th spot is Brian Beard, and right behind him is Pierre Daigle. He had a good run, 24th to 12th. Right behind him will be Scott Johnson in the 13th spot. Chris Stouffer and Chris Lanini come in 14th and 15th. We got Big Joe Hasser coming in 16th. Brian Greenlee, the last of our non-lappers there in 17th. Isaiah Dupree, Matthew Mercer, and Ron Hacker round out 18th, 19th, and 20th.
Dylan McKenna able to avoid the curse of the spotlighted driver. Started 21st, finishes in the blackjack with Chisholm. Bob Micas had a spin. We caught that one. We didn't catch that one. I saw it, Bob. You lose double your starting position. Started 11th, go back to the doubled up spot. Tony Schowen and George Anzaldo go 23rd and 24th. At the quarter century mark, it's Brandon Linkeman. Vincent Bluthenthal and Robert Bluen are next. 28th, 29th, and 30th, Jack Bogan, Greg West, and the Racing Kangaroo, Michael Gray, making his 100th start tonight. Richie?
Coming in 31st is Peter Edwins, Joe Flanagan in 32nd, Ian Adams, James Krahula 33rd and 34th, Brian Yazik 35th, Tyler Graff, and Ed Tutwiler finishing out the field in 37th spot.
You get out your old encyclopedias, look up wire to wire, you'll see a picture of Adam Blocker. Adam, congratulations. My goodness. It's a fixed setup. You're all racing the same car, but you must have just been feeling comfortable. And Adam, we got to, nope, we don't hear you, Adam. We don't play. Well, we heard a little. We hear you hissing. Tell you what, we'll take you back down. We hear you. Just, we're going to give him a shot here. Hang on. He's playing around right now. Adam, he started in first. He finished in first. He was never behind anybody, and he came home a whopping 27.6 seconds ahead of Andrew Kinsella. Adam, we'll take one more shot. Do you want to press it down, see if we got you? No, but you know what? When you finish wire to wire 27 seconds ahead of the next guy, what are you going to say anyway? So, I think we just had him. Hang on. Let's bring him back. We got you, Adam, one more time.
You got me now?
Now we got you.
Yeah, sorry.
Boy, that was close to giving up on you. Hey, congratulations, man. That was I don't say it was easy, but it was impressive.
Yeah, it's not very often, I get that sort of win, but yeah, it's definitely nice when it happens. I was just really comfortable with the setup in this track. Yeah, more than usual. That was definitely my best performance of the season, I would say. Yeah, win, pole, fastest lap, lead every lap, and clean race. Clean race at Spa is pretty difficult, so I'll definitely take that. Helps me a lot in the points, and 1-2 for adrenaline. So I mean, that's just absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. It's I guess it's okay if you're trying to beat your teammate in the point standings. I guess it's nice to see him go 1-2, even though you'd like to get a little bit of distance on him. Fuel an issue here, or was you could drive flat out all the way?
I think it was for some people, but in general, I'm a little bit easier on fuel than other guys, so I was able to push flat out the whole time, except for when I caught traffic. But yeah, I didn't have to worry about fuel saving at all. I think like some of the other guys did. That's why Weaver, I think, had to make an extra stop, and that cost him. But
well, you pick up a little distance there on Casella. You guys are going to look like you're going to take it all the way to the end. Good luck, as adrenaline feels pretty strong in the team championship.
Yeah, thanks. I just want to thank you guys for calling the race, and I definitely want to thank HPP for sponsoring this race and all the contributions they put into our championship. It really means a lot to everybody, and I know they're a fantastic company, so thanks to them.
That's right, and a piece of their equipment might be coming your way if you can manage to get to the top of the standings by the end of the season. All right, let's go ahead and bring in his teammate. We'll let Richie talk to Andrew Havakech Kinsella, who came home in second.
Andrew, you got a copy?
I'm here, Richie.
Hey, man, great finish there. Really exciting at the end. But just right in the middle of the race there, seemed to kind of fall off a little bit. You're running about 4th or 5th. Were you just trying to save fuel?
Yeah, I was saving a little bit of fuel, saving tires. Just wanted to make sure. You never want to sort of curse your strategy before you get there. So that middle stint, I was just focusing on getting really good fuel economy and making sure that I was well within the safety zone for the 2-stop strategy, and I did that no problem. And then so I turned it up the last stint a little bit, and somehow was able to catch Steven there. And wow, what a race at the end!
Yeah, I was just going to bring that up. I mean, that last lap was very clean, but he definitely wasn't giving up, and even it went all the way down to the last turn. Almost, if that finish line was a little bit farther, he would have got you those. So kind of talk us through that lap a little bit.
Yeah, I had one push to pass left, and I suspected that he had a lot more. I used most of my push to passes on the very first stint of the race just to stay with everyone. And so I had the one push to pass left that I used down through Eau Rouge and used it to pass him. And then I figured he's probably got another one. So I tried to stay to the middle of the road as much as I could up through Blanchimont there and into the last chicane, and then I screwed up the second corner in the chicane and nearly cost myself the second place anyways, but I think it was 0.02 of a second I managed to pull it out. But heck of a race from Steven. Yeah, as you mentioned, it was totally clean, totally fair. Neither of us wanted to give an inch, but I was able to just nip him in the end. But great race from Steven, and congrats to Adam as well. He did a great job out front, and thanks to HPP for sponsoring this and for putting up the prize package. Make some great pedals and some great steering wheels, and that's definitely what we're shooting for at the end of the season is the championship. But Adam's not making it easy on me.
No, definitely not. He definitely had a clean race, and I'm sure it's going to come down to the end between you two guys. So great job. We kind of had that last lap covered on the broadcast, so you can go back and watch it. It was pretty fun to watch. So nicely done there, Andrew, and we'll look forward to seeing you at the next one.
Yeah, thanks, Richie. See you at Richmond.
Andrew Kinsella, our second place finisher. Now we'll flip the coin and bring up the other side of it. We'll talk to Spa-Francorchamps. Stefan, let's go right to that last lap. Man, he got you going down into Lacombe, but then you fought him back. You didn't want to give it up, and then you had another shot on him in the bus stop.
Oh yeah, no one was gonna give that one up. I certainly wasn't, but that was a fantastic battle. I am kind of kicking myself a little bit because I think I caught Andrew wondering a bit how he caused me. The main reason I was that going through Stavilo a few laps before, I was held up by a lap car, and that cost me about 2 seconds, and that brought him back into the game. But with a race like that, I don't think I can be too bitter about it. That was fantastic driving on his part. I just tried everything I could not to make any sort of error to, at the very most, to prevent him from going by. But just wasn't quite to be. I did get a good run on the power there. I think he did go a little bit wide on exit. He did get a bit of wheel spin coming out of the bus stop, and I did get a good run on him. But as that old story goes, if the finish line was like 5 feet further down the road, I would have had him. But that was phenomenal. That was awesome racing. Both, and that was awesome racing for both of us. I think I'm definitely proud of that, even though I came up on the short end of the stick.
Yeah, this is going to sound like a kind of backhanded compliment here. Like, honey, do you like my haircut? Yeah, you need to lose some weight. Is there anything you can do to up your oval game? Because I think if you can get that thing going, you got yourself a chance at a championship.
I feel like there's a lot more I can gain out of this. I mean, this is obviously my first season in the series, and I guess I've been doing. I guess you could say I've been doing fairly well for myself, at least. This is my third podium of the season. But none of them have been on ovals, I don't think. So I think there is a lot that could be had there. I've been more of a road course driver since day one in iRacing, but I do think I could possibly get there at some point. It may take some time, but maybe next year that could be the moment where and next year at the latest, I would think I'd be able to break through that.
Boy, you put that in the mix, and you're going to be tough to beat. Congratulations on another great road course podium for you. We'll see you down the road.
Thanks, man. Good, awesome one. You were in for a treat.
Stefan Larkamp. Do we have time for this last one here? We're going to eat. Okay. Let's go ahead and bring in. Boy, he had a nice finish. This is, we're going to let Richie talk to Samuel Ryman. Had a great qualifying in 8th, comes home in 10th.
Hey, Samuel. Yeah, just like Soup said, great job on the qualifying in the top 10, but unfortunately got caught up in somebody else's mess there.
Yeah. My first top 10 of the year. If anyone's followed me throughout the season, they might find that a little bit hard to believe. I do as well. Kind of wish I'd had one before now. And kind of figured it would happen tonight. New Lacombs was a trouble zone and thought we escaped it all on lap 1. Lap 2, things just get a little bit ugly. That's Spa. That's, it's what makes it one of the great circuits, is it's difficult. Krahula has apologized to me, and honestly, I appreciate him doing that. I don't think he's 100% to blame. I think it was a racing incident between the two cars ahead. Once I got, and also my fault for zigging when I should have zagged. But I knew I was one of the in-car cameras for today, so I wanted to come here to talk to you guys. But I also wanted to give a shout out to a couple of people who made this possible, because I woke up this morning and I didn't even think I was going to be able to make this race, which I was bummed about because this is one I've had circled on my calendar all year. Bryce Whitson, who built the computer that I've been using, I've been having some issues with the computer the last couple of days, and he was able to talk to me on phone. I couldn't meet him in person because I have a cold and he's still recovering from leukemia. But he talked me through step by step on what was wrong with my computer and made this race possible tonight. So I really want to thank Bryce, who's competed in other races here on GSLC, for allowing me the race tonight, taking time out of his day to do that. I'd also like to thank my mum and dad. I know that sounds cheesy, but they it was my birthday a couple of weeks ago, and they were kind enough to get me a new iRacing steering wheel that I've been wanting, because I've been racing with a wheel all year that I haven't been happy with. And guys who like to see me perform well, this is what I can do. This is what I can do on the road course. And I'm sorry for if I have any fans out there who have been disappointed that I've had subpar performances all season long. they're coming. We got 10th place today. Could have got 6th, could have got 7th. I did all done. We've gone the plan, but I got top 10. I'm sure I'll be happy about that tomorrow morning. It looks like it was a great race. I see there were like 200ths of a second separating the guys for second at the line, so I can't wait to watch it back, and I hope everyone enjoyed the show today.
Yeah, I was going to say you did a great job after you dropped back. You raced like a madman to get back into that 10th spot, and you definitely earned it today. So great job there, Sam, and we look forward to seeing you out there at Richmond next week.
Yeah. Oh, boy, that's next week, huh? Oh, boy, that'll be fun. All right. Have a great night, guys.
Samuel Ryman. That was a great interview. I like the story there of that one. Hey, let's thank everybody at First Medical Equipment. They've been the source of medical supplies and equipment in Burlington, Iowa area for years because of their superior commitment to provide the absolute best in product quality and customer service. Richie, you ready for the next part?
Yeah, and that's going to go to Butt Kicker. Butt Kicker products add instant immersion to any game. Unlike a subwoofer that moves in air and loses accuracy and force, Butt Kicker products move actual mass, producing a haptic immersion that's powerful and accurate. Butt Kicker products add that missing driver-to-car connection, bringing more realism and immersion to your session. See all the family of products at thebuttkicker.com. Please use the promo code LION20 to get 20% off your next order.
HPP Simulations. When it's time to go racing, nothing beats the true hydraulic braking system from HPP Simulations, designed and manufactured in the USA on state-of-the-art CNC equipment. HPP's hydraulic pedals and their accessories set the standard for simulation racing. For more information, please visit hppsimulation.com.
To contact any of the sponsors you see on the screen right now, go to the LionheartRacingSeries.com. Click on 2018 sponsors, read or scroll to the bottom where you can click on this company logo.
On the screen now are just some of the company's equipment and software that made this broadcast possible. The iconic music that lets your ears alert your eyes. You're watching a GSRC Productions comes courtesy of Eric Eckelm and June Lalonde. See the screen to have to contact each of them.
The Lionheart IndyCar Series returns in 1 week, September 19th, for the Lionheart 200 from the Richmond Raceway. GSRC and IESN will be there to bring you all the action. We hope you join us. Sliding across your screen now are some upcoming broadcasts, so check those out and mark them down on your calendar. If you'd like more information about GSRC, including a complete list of future broadcasts, you can find it all at globalsimracingchannel.com. We're also on Twitter at GSR Channel and Facebook at Global Sim Racing Channel. And if you're not already a GSRC YouTube channel subscriber, you can become one by simply visiting our YouTube channel and hitting that subscribe button.
Finally, on behalf of the man whose voice you just heard, Richie Hearn, our director Amjad Yaman, and our camera artist Dougie Beard, I'd like to thank all of you for watching, and a special thank you to all of you on the southeastern seaboard down there. Stay safe. With that said, we're off to have fun storming the castle. So until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.